Bogus Dave's First Crime Spree, Book 3. An illustrated true story of humorous teen mayhem by David Champney. Bogus Dave's First Crime Spree, Book 3 by David Champney. Crude, inconsistent illustrations and coloring hand-drawn by David Champney. Copyright 2026 by David Champney. All rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced or stored in a retrieval system or transmitted in any form by any means electronic, mechanical, photocopying, recording, or otherwise without prior written permission of the author. Warning: do not attempt to recreate or reenact any of the activity in this book. It could result in injury or death. It could also result in serious consequences from law enforcement agencies and/or officials. This book is meant for entertainment only. Bogus Dave's favorite thing to do was riding around and shooting out windows with his wrist rocket. He'd knock out car windows. Smash! As he launched a projectile into a window. Yeah! Dave yelled. Frank and Larry just laughed. They'd knock out house windows. Nice shot! I'll bet that woke him up. Dave laughed as Larry knocked out a door window. They'd knock out business windows downtown. They also liked to shoot at stuff that made loud noise when you hit them, like old aluminum screen doors. Blam! Yeah, got it, yelled Dave, laughing. And street signs. Blang! As the aluminum stop sign rattled. Sometimes they'd go over to Telfer Park and shoot at metal stadium bleachers. Blang! Clang! Bang! As the steelies and marbles rattled off the metal. One day, Ron got a crazy idea. What if they called the local glass repair company and offered to go out a few times a week and knock out all kinds of windows? We'd be giving them all kinds of business. I figure they could give us $500 a week and they'd still make a bunch of profit, Ron suggested. How would we get the cash? Dave asked. We'd tell them to put it somewhere out of sight of anyone. Then we'd snatch it and take off, Ron was explaining. Oh, kind of like a ransom, like in the movies, Dave said. I mean, it's just a crazy idea, but it would be some easy money, Ron said. Would be nice, Larry agreed. I don't know if I'd trust them to not go to the cops, Dave said at the end. Dave and the guys had painted the mini bike they had stolen so no one would recognize it. Then they went to Leeson's Park so Dave could take it for a ride. I adjusted it to go a little faster, Ron told him. Sweet, Larry was impressed. Cool, Dave said as he brapped off on the mini bike. Dave went zooming off to the lower area of the park near the cemetery. Ron's tinkering really made a faster difference. Yeah, Dave was impressed. Brap, the mini bike hollered. There was all kinds of people in the park. They all watched Bogus Dave as he zipped by on the mini bike. Brap, as he flew down the road. Dave decided to ride off into the grass and see how it handled off-road. Brap, as he flew off into the park area. Back at the upper parking lot, Ron was getting impatient, waiting for Dave. As soon as he gets back up here, we're heading back home, Ron growled. I think I hear him coming this way, Larry said. Ron tried to wave down Dave. However, Dave was having too much fun and purposely ignored Ron as he zoomed by. "Hey, wait! Come on, damn it!" Ron snarled. Larry just laughed. Dave was like, "Yeah!" laughing as he rapped on by. As Dave headed back down by the cemetery, he didn't notice the small divot in the grass. Bonk! Everything started to get unstable. Oh, shit! Dave and the mini bike went tumbling into the air. Dave had some bruises and some scratches. The mini bike got its handlebars twisted a bit, but it still ran. An old black guy had been watching from a nearby picnic table. "That was slick. Can I see it again?" he laughed. "I don't think my head could take another hit like that," Dave laughed back at him. A few nights later, everyone was hanging out at Ron's house. Ron had fixed the mini bike and Dave was doing burnouts in the driveway. "Eat my dust, fools!" Dave mocked them as he spun gravel into their faces. "Brah! Knock it off! You're tearing up the driveway!" Ron growled as he tried to block gravel from hitting him in the face. "Dude, stop!" Larry cried as the gravel sprayed in his face too. Frank just laughed because he was standing behind both big-ass Ron and Larry. Everyone was standing in the driveway talking when a car drove by fast. Whoom! As it flew up Liberty Avenue. "Damn, they're in a hurry," Larry said as he watched the car speed off. "That was Clay's Cutlass," Ron said. "Hey, I know his girlfriend, Tracy. We had 7th hour class together," Dave told everyone. "Dude, I'd love to have his engine in my car," Ron explained. "That'd be cool," Frank agreed. All of a sudden, a cop car pulled out from a side street and chased after the speeding car. "Woo, woo, woo!" "Busted!" Dave hollered out loud. Larry laughed. "He's getting a ticket for real," Ron said as Frank laughed. 20 minutes later, the cop car drove past with Clay's girlfriend Tracy in the back seat. "Look, there was Tracy in the back of the cop car," Dave pointed. "Ah, Clay's gonna be pissed," Ron chuckled. "Hey, let's go break into his car," Frank brought up a great idea. Dave and the guys jumped in Ron's car and headed out to find Clay's car. They were cruising when Dave saw something. "There, down that street. It's sitting in the side of the road." Dave pointed into the dark side street. Ron pulled up alongside Clay's car. Frank got out and smashed the driver's side window with a hammer. He got in and started smashing up the dash to get the radio out. "Dude, he's got a Yamaha tape deck," Frank said, excited, as he started smashing up the dash to pull the radio. "Yeah, get it, Frank," Dave egged him on. "Hurry up before someone sees us," Ron snarled from the driver's seat. Once Frank got the tape deck out of Clay's car, they all headed back to Ron's garage to check it out. "That deck is sweet," Ron said jealously. "Clay's gonna be pissed," Larry chuckled. "When do you think you'll put it in one of your cars?" Dave asked Frank. "I'm not sure. I might just sell it for cash." "I'm gonna head home. I gotta get up early for work," Frank told him. After Frank left, Bogus, Dave, and Larry wanted to go back out to Clay's car and see if there was anything else to steal. Ron was being a jerk, as usual, and didn't want to go. "I don't want people seeing my car out there again," Ron growled. "Oh, come on, you can park down the street," Larry tried to suggest. Screw it. We'll just walk back out there, Dave said, fed up with Ron. It only took Dave and Larry about 15 minutes to walk back to Clay's car. It was still there, so they climbed in and started looking. Hey, she left her purse. Dave laughed, not believing how stupid she was. There's a whole carry case of tapes. AC/DC, Metallica, Def Leppard, Larry said happily with his discovery. Dave and Larry walked back to Ron's house with the stuff they snagged from Clay's car. There's about 30-40 rock tapes here, Larry said as he went through the collection of music. Dude, here's the keys to her car and Clay's car, Dave discovered. No way! We gotta get his car and put that motor in my car. Ron was eager. Dave and Larry decided to go back out to Clay's car and see if he had anything good in the trunk, like some speakers or an amplifier. It's been about an hour or so. If the car is gone, we just keep walking, Dave told Larry. Okay, Larry agreed. When they got to the corner, Dave looked down the side street. Clay's car was gone. This was not good for Dave and Larry. Dude is probably pissed off, driving around mad as hell. Dave looked around worried. We need to get going now, Larry said, nervous. Just as they started to head back to Ron's house, a familiar car came driving up the road towards them. Damn, that's Clay. I'll distract him. You grab him from behind, then I'll stab him with the ghetto knife. We run like hell, Dave said, unsure of his story. Okay, Larry said, still nervous. Clay pulls up to the curb, stops, and gets out. Hey! You guys seen anyone walking around with a Yamaha tape deck and a case of tapes? Clay growled at the two guys. What? Huh? Dave and Larry were caught off guard and didn't know what to say. Bogus Dave and Larry almost started laughing because Clay had no clue that they were the ones that had broken into his car. Some jerks broke into my damn car, Clay said, angry. No way. Huh. Aren't you Tracy's boyfriend? Dave said, trying to, change the subject. That's wild, Larry said, trying to stifle his laughing. Yeah. She got caught speeding and left my car on the side of the road. Some jerks smashed my window, trashed the car, and stole stuff. Clay said, still mad. That sucks. We're just out here getting Larry some fresh air. He ain't feeling good, Dave straight up lied. Yeah. Larry went along with what Dave was saying. If I find these punks, I'm going to beat their asses. Clay just more madder than hell. Yeah? Tell you what, if we hear anything, I'll call Tracy and let her know. Cool? Dave lied to Clay. Yeah, Larry went along with it. Dude, I'd appreciate that big time. I just paid $300 for that tape deck. Clay calmed down and started to cool off a bit. No problem. We'll let Tracy know if we hear anything, Dave lied. Yup. Larry continued going along with Dave's story. Clay got back in his car and drove off. Dave and Larry started laughing. Have you guys seen anyone with my tape deck and case of tapes? Dave laughed in a mockingly hysterical manner. Oh my God! I can't wait to tell Ron about this. Larry laughed at the fact that Clay had no idea what had really happened.